we're having a conversation between ourselves, and we just thought about a number of the young couples we've been working with and a trend we have noticed amongst them. And we thought it might just be right to put out, a video on this to encourage others, and help more people know what to work on. Do you want to take it from there?
Yeah, well, one of you, while we were having a chat about it, and we thought if we were to advise young couples between 0 to 5, what advice we would give to them? And one of the things we thought that they need to invest more time to understand one another. We call it understanding your spouse. It's very good. So let's look at it this way. All of us have different perspectives about. If you're a woman, you have a perspective about men. If you're a man, you have a perspective about women, generally. But you need to understand the man that you are married to. They're two separate concepts. You may understand men generally, yes, but some of what you understand may not really apply to your man, because your man is unique in his own way. You need to understand the uniqueness of the man. You need to understand what drives him. If you don't understand what drives your man, you don't really understand him. You don't understand what drives your man. Because sometimes we ask couples questions like, what is important to your man right now, today, not 10 years ago? Very few people are able to really capture, because we're busy, and I can't blame anyone. The busyness now is on another level, because right now, for many working families, one income is not enough. And so people are working full time, doing side hustles, and just trying to make ends meet. And some people have young children, throwing that in the mix. Some people have ministry that they're running. So many of us are wearing different hats. So I understand that fact. But it doesn't take away the fact that it's an essential thing. It's an important thing. All right. So when something is important, I think someone said, don't allow the thing that matters the most be at the mercy of the thing that matters the least. When I read that quote, kind of hit me. So in the midst of our business, know what is very important. And one of the things that's very important is understanding your spouse. Spending time to know the woman you're married to. I have sisters, I have a mom, So I have a general perspective about women. But that does not replace me knowing the woman that I'm married to. All right. And that's where many people may say, we just have this stereotypical, all women are. No, you should understand the woman you're married to. You don't understand the man you're married to. So how do you do this? You need to spend time together. Time together is different from quality time together.
That's right.
All right. So we recommend quality time together. What do we mean by that? Quality time together means you spend time for the purpose of actually understanding your person. Not just me and my wife can be watching TV and we're spending time together, but it's not necessarily quality time in terms of understanding each other. Like if I ask my wife now, okay, so I don't know if we have to ask her, because I know what is important to her at this phase. But if you are the kind of person that probably you travel, you go away for a while, you come back, you need to spend that time and say, what can I do to make you happy? What is important to you now? What is bothering you at the moment? You want to understand that.
I kind of appreciate what you said, and not until we give this the attention it requires, we'll be falling back on many things. Okay, so it's a process. What you're speaking to is a process of fact finding, actually delving deep to ask questions, to inquire, to know what is actually going on around this person. And as we this is for young couples. So some of you may be newly married, 1 year, 2 years, but the fact is that you're busy. What we're trying to speak to is to intentionally create that time, because it won't just happen.
It won't.
If we leave it to chance, it may never happen, because yes, like you rightly pointed out, you're busy. You're running different things. So, and for some have a little baby thrown into the mix as well. So they may not have had that time to even understand their spouse. And here's another baby who you really need to understand. You need to understand your child. So that's added responsibility. And depending on what may have happened around you, just before marriage, you may have entered another phase of your life, another season of your life. And you're still trying to figure out what this whole thing about being married is. You see, and this is why we should be talking, because it's a new journey for you, it's a new journey for your spouse. You need to be checking on each other. How are we getting on this journey? How are you feeling? What's up with you? How are you finding adjusting? Because the thing too is, there are other parts of your life that you would need to make adjustments on because you're now married. Yes, so there are ladies who have that phase where they go through and their friends are now saying, oh, she's feeling like something. She no longer wants to go out with us on a Friday night. You see, but that's not the point. The point is that because you're now married, you've formed a new bubble. You need to invest time in this bubble. So it's not about you. So she may be in that phase where she's also feeling like, oh, am I even a good friend? So that's why it's important to do that.
I was just thinking, we need to let people we need to also emphasize why we think this way.
Okay.
Yes. Because we've talked about what, we've talked about when, we need to talk about why this is important. So for us, why do we have conversations? Why? How? Or what benefit?
It helps us stay in touch with what is happening in the other's life. That way, when we talk about people growing apart, it's just scenarios like this that lead to that. If we carry on for too long, not knowing what is actually happening, how is this person feeling, the other person is not telling you deep things that he's feeling, even maybe little things as you offended me yesterday and I don't like the way you spoke to me, but because you've not had that time to talk about it, you just move on with your day. The next day comes with its own challenges, you just go through that day and you never visit that matter. You see, he could just have debris of that lingering, but it needs to be talked through. So you need to understand what's actually going on, where this person is at. It helps for the health of your marriage.
Many relationships break before they actually break outward.
That's right.
That's what she's saying. That growing apart is part of the breaking process. But because both of you are still talking, are still living under the same roof, nobody knows. Even sometimes people who are in the marriage don't know. So the other thing is that keeping in touch helps to improve your sexual life, particularly for the woman. So women are built differently, generally speaking. You can't just, hey, I'm interested in this area. No. For the woman, you need to build, she needs to feel that you are connected. It's a connection thing for the woman. So if you're a guy, don't just go off, you're busy, I know you're working for the family, you are doing stuff for the family, you're protecting, you're providing, that's really good. But without you connecting, that department may suffer. Okay, so that's very, very important. Another point is that it helps your parenting. Because if you are not in touch, your values are shifting. That style may reflect in how you parent.
Right.
That's why you see one person is this extreme, the other person is that one. That's not a problem, but if you can discuss and find out, okay, you know what, this is my perspective on this issue, this is your perspective. All right, so for this particular child, looking at the personality of this child, the nature of this child, the strength of this child, how do we bring these two extremes to be able to parent this child? Without this kind of conversation happens intentionally. If you don't do it intentionally, you do it by default, and that's when you argue in front of the child, and that doesn't help anybody, particularly the child.
So another thing we think that young couples should prioritize is do not indulge your partner in his or her weaknesses. And what do we mean when we say that? Do not make excuses for those weaknesses. Do not, excuse them. If your partner is doing something, this is not right, you need to call it out. Otherwise, that thing will grow wings and become a thorn in your marriage later in the future. It may not also be a thorn in your marriage, but it may cause you some kind of embarrassment when your spouse displays that thing outside, before others. So I personally think that your greatest source of correction should come from your spouse. It's a safe place. It's a safe place.
Yes.
So you should be able to take it. There are things that I'll do, and my husband will tell me, on this one, no, you're in error.
And vice versa.
You see, and it's for me. Even if I feel bad about it, sometimes I may not like the way he's told me, but that's the truth. And he's doing it from a place of love because he wants me to change that thing. Don't do it again. It's not nice for you. You see, and I think everybody needs that in a spouse.
To be honest with you, if you don't have that kind of situation, you need to create that kind of situation where you create an environment where your partner can be vulnerable and tell you what they really think. Because sometimes we build this bubble and your partner sees that you're doing something wrong, your friends see that you're doing something wrong, but because of the way you've told them that this is what God is telling me, you've used a spiritual language to fence people out. So people can't really tell you what they think. You can see that this thing is not going to work. You're going in the wrong direction. So, but what we are saying is, As a partner, don't because you want peace.
Yes.
Peace in quotes. Yeah. At the expense, as a result of that, you sacrifice integrity for some 1 hour or two quietness. No, you have to stand with. I believe that on issues of principle, you stand like a rock. On issues of tastes, you flow like the current. It doesn't matter. For example, should we paint here white? Oh, I want white. I want blue. It doesn't really matter. Just choose one color. But should we spend more than we are earning? That's a matter of principle. No, it's no. It doesn't matter what the issue is. You stand with that. Anybody who doesn't like it, at the end of the day, this is what we're doing. But because that's a matter of principle, not a matter of should we go to Paris, should we go to London, should we go to... For us, that's a matter of taste. It doesn't really matter. So, very important for you to have a partner that is able to tell you the truth, and say, the way you sound when you're upset, when you're under stress, you snap, you are very rude. All right? The person tells you, even though you may know or you may not know, the person tells you, you need to work on this area. You need to work on it. You need to learn to do this. You need to learn to keep in touch. You need to let your partner be in that position where they can tell you the truth. Because if your partner doesn't tell you the truth, what happens is that outsiders will be the one that will correct you. Or correct your partner. Whichever way it will be. And you don't want to be in that situation where someone just embarrasses your partner. Because anybody that embarrasses your partner is actually going to embarrass you.
The last thing we would share today, which we think young couples should prioritize, is you need to find something you both can work on together. You might be in different vocations, different interests, but there must be something that you both, there must be an interest you both share. How about you explore that thing and get working on it? And why do we say this? From experience, we've come to know that brings people together. When you have that thing you work on. And I think we had this couple, a young couple we had worked with, say that to us. And they said, just because they had something they created, which they stay working on, they had an issue that would normally, before now, it would be the case that they would go weeks without talking to each other. But because they had created that thing and they needed to liaise with other people on that matter, and people they had contacted were coming to them anyway. So it meant they had to talk. They had to resolve that issue and just get on with this transaction. So we know that would be very beneficial to your marriage. We call it having a common mission, right? So it may not be in the area of, some people would say, oh, okay, it could be a ministry for you. It could be an outlet in that way. If not, for some people also would call it social responsibility. You see, but there's something you both are working towards. It helps your marriage.
Proximity gives room for impact, creates an opportunity for you to rub off on each other's values, to share what you are going through, to, in that process of working together. That's why people who work well together, they build a form of connection as well. All right, so it's very important because in the process of working together, you can have some very intimate conversations in the process. You create an opportunity rather than you working where there's a saying that says out of sight, out of mind. You don't want to constantly be emotionally out of sight for your partner. You want to be in their environment. Yeah. Okay,
so we'll draw the line there. I remain Chidi Akunna.
What's my name?
Victor Akunna. And we this video was born out of the different sessions we have with different people. For this one, it was for married couples. So we have sessions that run for singles, engaged couples, married couples, and I tell you, for us, it's so rewarding to see people make those adjustments in their marriage. If there's an area of your marriage you think that you're going back and forth on, do not leave things until they crack the marriage. Right, so you can hit the link in the description box right now and get in touch with us, and we will come in. We're always happy to come in and give our own open, unbiased advice, unbiased suggestions. What matters is that your marriage is healthy, and that's what we should be prioritizing at this point. So sometimes when we speak to people, they're like, oh, we wish we contacted you earlier. You see, but don't get too embarrassed that you don't want to step out and reach out to someone. It's a very closed space. Optimum confidentiality is guaranteed, and we are doing things with groups. There are some groups of friends who currently we're working on, and they've come together because they trust each other, and they would like us to have that session where at least they can exchange ideas between them and see, and it's just so enriching. So we're making the invitation. Hit that link hit that link, and we'll be in touch with you. So at Foundation for Family Affairs, our mission is to connect hearts and raise healthy families. How healthy is your family? We'll leave it there. Have a good time.
Bye for now.